Welcome to Archiversity online lectures. In this lecture, I am going to explain you different types of data and different types of statistical analysis that we use in survey research analytics. Types of data can be classified as quantitative data and qualitative data, and statistical analysis can be classified as descriptive analysis and inferential statistical analysis. I will explain these four concepts with examples. Types of data can be classified into two. One is qualitative data and second one is quantitative data. So using your questionnaires, in my previous lectures I explained you the different measurements of scales where we classified nominal scale, ordinal scale, then you have a interval scale and a ratio scale. So nominal scale is the lowest one. Now qualitative data comes from your nominal scale items. So here nominal scale items are numerical data, that is a categorical, such as dictomus, yes no responses, or eye color, or your gender, then age group, then your religion. So these are all your qualitative data which comes from nominal scale. The next is your ordinal scale. In case of ordinal scale, we give a rank orders, and this data is comes from ordinal scale, where you can say that 1 is to happy, 2 neutral, 3 unhappy, or somebody comes in a first place in a race, second place in a race, likewise. So these are all your qualitative data. On the other side, you have a quantitative data. Quantitative data is measured in terms of numerics or in numbers. This is further classified into two. One is the discrete numbers and second one is the continuous numbers. So when we say that discrete numbers, the absolute values. So suppose number of customers visited a store, we can say that 100 customers visited a store. There may not be 100.5 customers. So it is 100 customers who visit. So this is a discrete. Or number of vehicles serviced in a service center. We can say that 25 vehicles are serviced in a service center. So this is a discrete and quantitative one. On the other side, you have a quantitative and a continuous one. Continuous is on a scale ranging from 0 to n infinite numbers. So here in case of a continuous scale, you have two classifications. One is an interval scale and the second one is a ratio scale. So in case of an interval scale, then you can see that there is a differences between variables where we use a questionnaires in interval scale, like disagreement to disagreement, or satisfaction to dissatisfaction. And your ratio scale measures intervals with the differences can be determined, such as a height or weight. Let us say height of an individual 107.5 centimeters, then weight is 40 kg, or we can say that 40.25 kgs. So that means any data that coming from your interval scale and a ratio scale or categorized as a quantitative data, whereas data coming from your nominal scale and ordinal scale are a qualitative data. The next is we look at the statistical tests. That is two different types. One is the descriptive statistics and second one is the inferential statistical analysis. So descriptive statistics are a basic statistics, that is organizing, summarizing data using numbers and graphs. So here simply you will use numbers and graphs. Then describe the characteristics of a sample population, like your frequency distribution or crosstabs. These are all part of your descriptive statistics. Then it is a collecting, organizing, summarizing and presenting the data. Mostly descriptive statistics are presented in the form of charts, graphs and tables. The measures that we can perform on descriptive statistics are measures of a central tendency, like your mean, median, mode. Sometimes we use a variance if it is a numerical data, variance, then a standard deviation. All right, then data set is a small. Now on the other side, you have inferential statistics, using sample data to make an inference or draw conclusions of the population. So in case of inferential statistics, what we do is we collect the data from a sample, and then using this sample we try to interpret the population. We try to interpret or we try to describe the features of a population. This happens when you have a very large sample population. In that case, it is very difficult for you to calculate or collect the data from a whole population. So what is that we do is, instead of collecting the data from a whole population, we collect the data for a smaller part of the population, which we call as a sample, and we analyze the sample data and we try to infer the results of a sample to a population. That's the reason why we call this as inferential statistics. Then here the objective is to draw conclusions of the population data. In the sense, we try to draw conclusions of the population data using sample data. Then drawing conclusions, performing estimations and making a predictions. Sometimes we also make a predictions or estimations based on the sample data, like we use calculations like regression, then multiple regressions. These all calculations we use to draw conclusions. Then form of results based on a probability. Then as you are collecting a sample and trying to infer the results of a sample to the population, so we look at the probability values. What is the probability of success or a failure? Then for this purpose we use statistical tests, that is hypothesis tests like ANOVA, chi-square, like those statistical tests are used to draw inferential statistics. And we use the inferential statistics when the population data set is very large. So these are the two different types. One is descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Let us say how is that we are going to link this with your scale is, so suppose you measure in a nominal scale, your data is qualitative and statistical analysis is descriptive. So if you have an ordinal, your data is qualitative and you can have a descriptive statistical analysis. If your scale is interval, you can perform both. You will get a quantitative data, and here you can perform both descriptive as well as inferential statistics. Same is the case with a ratio also. In case of a ratio analysis, you get quantitative data and the analysis that you can perform is descriptive plus inferential statistics. So this is the linkage between your measurement scale, types of data and data analysis. So here this is your measurement scale, then data type and statistical analysis. And further, if you have to link this with the parametric and non-parametric statistics tests, so on your nominal and ordinal, we use non-parametric, even with the interval as well as a ratio scale also. If the sample size is less than 30, then we use a non-parametric statistical test. However, on interval and ratio scales, we use only parametric tests. So this is the whole linkage between your scale to the statistical tests. So nominal scale, qualitative data, descriptive analysis and non-parametric statistics test. Interval scale, quantitative data, descriptive analysis as well as inferential statistics and parametric tests. If sample size is less than 30, then you go for a non-parametric test. And when it comes to the ratio scale, quantitative data, both descriptive and inferential, parametric statistical test. If data is less than 30, then non-parametric statistical test. This is an overview of types of data, then your measurement scale, statistical analysis and statistical tests. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture.